let's get growing. It's Jo Swan here, the educational gardener from Bulwell Forest Garden. And it's well, we've just had Easter weekend and we have had some beautiful sunny days, but today's not one of them. It's like raining and it's windy out there, but it's April and things are growing, so that's good. So Easter traditionally is the time to plant your potatoes. So we're going to start not with your packs, we're going to start with something that was in your other packs. So it's the Charlotte potatoes. So let's get growing. So here are my potatoes that I've been chitting, and they've grown small shoots. You don't want massive shoots, these are just perfect. So I've got a big pot and I've just filled it with some, 3/4 filled it with some homemade compost. And because it's quite a big pot, I'm going to put all 3 of my potatoes in with the shoots upmost. So I'm going to put one there, one there. You could do them in individual pots, but I'm going to try mine all together. And then I'm going to cover them up with my compost. And I think I'll put a bit of the peat-free compost on the top, just so the weeds aren't coming up as much. I'll probably fill that up as they come up. I've got a bit more in there. I've got a label, so I know they're my Charlottes. So in your pack you should have a little pot of wildflowers. So what I'm going to do with these wildflowers, you could just simply put it into a bigger pot because it does need potting on. What I've decided to do is do a big pot, and in my big pot I'm going to put my wild carrots that we grew from previous packs, and that's definitely filled its pot, so I'm just going to tease it out a little bit. And again, I'm just using homemade compost because they're wildflowers, they're not too fussy, but I probably will use this to fill it out. So I've got my wild carrot in, and then I'm going to put the whole clump of wildflowers in here. And then we did sow some earlier, which I haven't done brilliant, but I'm going to bung all of these in as well. We're going a bit slow to get going on those ones, but there is, you can see some clover and a few other bits and bobs. So what I'm going to do with these is just roughly break them up, probably into about 3 clumps. Just squeeze them in, and then I'm going to have a nice big pot. That'll be good for bees and butterflies. We'll see how they do. Put the label back in. Okay. And then next we're going to do some wild rockets, so something to eat. What I'm going to do with the wild rocket, you can see I've got some over here. These are last year's plants, but they will be going to seed. They're starting to go to seed now. But I just sowed these into here, and I think I sowed them into a tray and just split them into 2. So what I'm going to do with the seeds is, because they don't like being transplanted, so I'm going to sow them where I intend to grow them. So they're very tiny, are the seeds. So they look like you've got hardly anything, but you only need a pinch. I'm just going to scatter them, broadcast them around the top of the pot here. And because they're so small, you only need a little tiny sprinkling to cover them up. And then we'll press them down and give them the water with a fine rose. And then finally, we're going to move on to our sweet basil. So we've got another herb. It's a tender herb, so we need to keep this protected from the frosts. So So I'm going to do these with the aim of transplanting them. So I've got a little fruit punnet with holes in the bottom, and I'm just going to again broadcast my seeds, scatter them along the surface of the compost, cover them up, a little bit of compost, not too much, press them down, and then I'll put a little another little punnet, something like that, over the top of it to keep them nice and warm till they germinate. And I just wanted to show you these, the sunflower seeds and the lettuce seeds that were sowed. So they're all germinated, they've all germinated nicely, but they're fine at the moment. Not time to do anything with them yet until next time. That's this week's pack. So we're just going to have a quick look at some of the other things that need some attention. So these are my peas. So we grew them in the toilet roll tubes, and most of them have germinated. I think there's only one that didn't germinate. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put them in a big pot and grow them in this pot. And I've done 3 canes, I've done a teepee, I'll leave them in the tubes, and I've just used old rough homemade compost in the bottom, and then I'm just going to fill it up with my peat-free compost in the middle, which is a bit tricky. I think they were the Douche Provence variety, so we have got some planted outside in the ground as well, which I think are doing okay. So that should do. So that's the peas. And then spring onions. We did some spring onion seeds in toilet roll tubes, and again most of them have germinated, but I think they've got a bit hot and dry in here. The tops of them, I think they'd be better off outside. Tops have gone a little bit brown, but I'm hoping that these are going to pick up again. I'm going to put them outside, I think. So I'm going to put all of them into a deepish pot that's half filled with homemade compost, and then again I'm just going to fill it in with the peat-free compost. And they'll just want the water, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll pick up. Don't like hot dry conditions onions. Okay. And then I was going to show you, if I can lift it, these are the Sutton broad beans that we grew, that I put into a big pot together. Now what I'm going to do with these, because they're starting to flower, is I'm going to pinch the tips out. And I'm pinching them out just to get them to bush out a bit more, so I'll get more flowers, and if I get more flowers I'll have more beans. And this one. Again, I think these would be better outside as well. Ooh. And I think that's it really from here. Let me just have a quick look outside at how our plants are doing outside. So everything's doing great out here. I'm running out of space though. The lasagna pot keeps giving. Its tulips are now out. My honesty's flowering. And I've got some little pansies and another pot of tulips here. The clary bouquets coming into flower. So these are all from previous packs. So yeah, I'm really happy with those. Okay, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, and hopefully we'll have some sunshine in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, bye.